Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wassalatu wassalam ala Imam al-Anbiya wal Mursaleen Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd, beloved brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I didn't hear anything. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Alhamdulillah, today we shall be taking a look at a new topic. We haven't covered this topic before. Today's topic is manhood in Islam. A lot of people have produced books and DVDs and CDs about women in Islam, and no one is producing anything about manhood in Islam, so much so that some people have forgotten what are the requirements of a real man. This topic has been ignored, therefore we find it necessary to cover this topic so that the Ummah will produce real men. The word man in the West is used, misused, and abused. It's like the word love. The word love is used, misused, and abused. People don't even know what love is, and they keep using that word. Similarly, people keep using the word man, and they don't have a clue what are the prerequisites of a man, what are the requirements of a real man. The word man is a title. Not every male is a man. Every man is a male, but not every male is a man. Not because of biological phenomena, you assume there goes a man. No, that's not the case. The Holy Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ have outlined what are the requirements of a real man, and the word man is a title. It's like the word doctor, lawyer, engineer, sheikh, maulana, mufti. All these are titles, and you have to study to acquire this title. You cannot be a doctor if you didn't study just because your father was a doctor. Man is a title, and if you do not behave in accordance with the prerequisites and requirements of a real man, you are a male but not a man. Allah Ta'ala has honored man in 5 different ways. First of all, He has created man with His own 2 hands. Allah created 3 things with His own 2 hands: the qalam, the pen, the arsh, and man. So Allah created man with His own 2 hands, and Allah told you in Surah 38, Surah Sad, verse 75. He said, "O Iblis, why didn't you bow down to what I, Allah, created with my own 2 hands?" Then Allah Ta'ala blew in him of His soul. Number 3, He taught man the names of everything under the heavens. Number 4, He put man in heaven to live. Number 5, He commanded the angels to bow down to man. And He has put man on earth to be His viceroy, His vicegerent. This is how Allah Ta'ala gave man the maximum respect. Now, let us look at Surah 11, verse 78. Allah spoke about Prophet Lut in this ayah. Surah Hud, verse 78. Allah sent 2 angels to Sodom and Gomorrah in the form of 2 handsome young men. And this was a fitna for the Sodomites of Sodom and Gomorrah. When news reached them that Prophet Lut had male guests, they stormed the house of Prophet Lut to rape his guest. His guests were Angel Gabriel and another angel who came in the form of 2 handsome young men as a fitna for the Sodomites of Sodom and Gomorrah. Prophet Lut didn't know they were angels. Not even when they passed by Abraham, he didn't know they were angels. That's why he cooked for them lamb, and they refused to eat. Angels don't eat or drink or have sex. So when they stormed the house of Prophet Lut, what did he say? Fattaqullah. He told them, fear Allah. You might say, how can Prophet Lut say to homosexuals, fear Allah? He did say to them, fear Allah, because they believed in Allah, except that they got carried away with their haram lust. Wala tukhzuni fi dayfi, and don't disgrace me in front of my guest, because according to Islamic culture, you are supposed to honor your guest. So don't disgrace me in front of my guest. Alaysa minkum rajul rashid, isn't there a man among you who is rashid? The Arabic word rashid means wise. So the first quality you need to be a real man is wisdom. And wisdom is to do the right things at the right time, at the right place, and in the right manner. That is wisdom. That is the definition of wisdom. And Allah said, يُؤْتِ الْحِكْمَةَ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. Allah gives wisdom to whom He please. وَمَنْ يُؤْتِ الْحِكْمَةَ فَقَدْ أُوتِيَ خَيْرًا كَثِيرًا. And whomsoever Allah gives wisdom to, He has given him goodness in abundance. So the first characteristic you need to be a real man is rushd, wisdom. As Prophet Lut said, أَلَيْسَ مِنْكُمْ رَجُلْ رَشِيدٌ. Isn't there one man from among you who is Rashid, who is wise? So a real man doesn't think with his private parts and catch diseases and die, like what is happening all over the world. People die in disgrace from AIDS. You think with your akhl, not with your private parts. A real man is not trivial and he is not emotional. A real man is rational. That's what you are. You are not emotional, neither are you trivial, you are rational. And Allah Ta'ala said about people who don't use their akhl, their intellect. Did Allah call them man? No. People who don't use their akhl, they don't think for themselves. They have others thinking for them and telling them what to do. Did Allah call them man? No. What did Allah call them in the Quran? Dawab, creatures. It's like the monkey, he copies others because the monkey is a creature. So if you can't think for yourself, you are not suitable to be a father and a husband, because Allah didn't call you a man in the Quran. Allah used the word dawab. So Allah said, Inna sharra dawab indallah as-sum al-buk alladhina la yaqilun. Verily the most despicable creature in the sight of Allah are those who are deaf, dumb and blind. They can't even think for themselves. Surah 8, Surah Anfal, verse 22. A real man doesn't take dictates from people who have no taqwa. He doesn't take dictates from people who have no ilm, no knowledge. He doesn't take dictates from people who have no guidance. He doesn't take his disputes to people who are jahil. He takes his disputes to people who are firmly grounded in knowledge. That is the real man. Then Allah said, Min al-mu'minin rijal, sadaqu ma ahdullah alayhi. They are rijal from among the believers. So the word rajul means a man, and that is the singular in Arabic. The plural is rijal. That is the plural. So Allah used the word rajul and rijal a lot in the Quran to tell you who a real man is. Min al-mu'minin rijal. There are men from among the believers. Sadaqu ma ahdullah alayhi. They fulfill their covenant with Allah. And the covenant is of two dimensions. The first covenant, when Allah took you from the loins of Adam and asked you, am I not your Lord? Alastu bi rabbikum? And you said, Bala, yes. That's the first covenant. And the second covenant that you took with Allah Ta'ala is for you to die for Allah on the battlefield. So Allah said in Surah Ahzab, verse 23, there are believers who have already fulfilled their covenants with Allah. They went for jihad. فَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ قَضَى نَحْبًا. Some of them have already died for Allah on the battlefield. This is the meaning of the word قَضَى نَحْبًا. وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَنْتَظِرُ. And some are waiting to become shaheed. Some have already become shaheed, and some are waiting to follow their brothers in their footsteps and become shaheed. Yantadir. وَمَا بَدَّلُوا تَبْدِيلًا, and they do not change their niyyah. Nothing in the dunya can cause them to lose their focus and change their niyyah. وَمَا بَدَّلُوا تَبْدِيلًا. Ahzab 23. Then Allah said, فِيهِ رِجَالٌ يُحِبُّونَ أَن يَتَطَهَّرُوا. There are men who like to be pure. وَاللَّهُ يُحِبُّ الْمُتَطَهِّرِينَ, and Allah loves those who keep themselves pure and clean. The Prophet said, At-tuhur shatrul iman. To keep your house clean and your body clean is half of iman. An-nadhafa min al-iman. Cleanliness is a part of iman. The Prophet said, لَوْلَا أَنْ أَشُكَّ عَلَىٰ أُمَّتِي لَأَمَرْتُهُمْ بِالسِّوَاكِ قَبْلَ كُلِّ صَلَاةٍ. Had it not been that it would be a burden on my ummah, I would have commanded them to brush their teeth 5 times a day, every day, before every single salah. This is how cleanliness is important in Islam. Had it not been that it would be a burden on my ummah, I would have commanded them to brush their teeth 5 times a day, every day, before every salah. A Muslim is supposed to have white, beautiful teeth because of nadhafa, cleanliness, and it is half of your iman. To keep your body clean, to keep your house clean, your surroundings clean. The Rasul passed by 2 graves, and the men were punished in their graves. One, he spread namima, tale-bearing, for Muslims to hate each other, carrying news for people to hate each other. He was a namam, and the Prophet said, this man cannot go to Jannah. The namam cannot go to Jannah. Those who carry news for people to hate each other. The second man, he dropped urine on his trousers. He didn't practice nadhafa, cleanliness. He dropped urine on his trousers. You can't pray in a trousers with urine on it, or if a dog lick it with his tongue, because it means your clothing isn't clean, your salah is rejected. So Allah loves men who keep themselves pure, spiritually pure. So you are pure from the 19 diseases of the heart: kufr, shirk, envy, jealousy, selfishness, laziness, lust, greed, tribalism, racism, number 11, nationalism, hatred, doubts. You have doubts about your faith, hypocrisy, nifaq, heresy. Heresy is called in Arabic zandaqa, to make up your own Islam and invite to it. Impatience, wahan. What is wahan? Love for the dunya and fear for death. So when you have wahan, your natural resources will be plundered by the kuffar. Your men will be dumped in concentration camps, and your women will be dumped into rape camps. And this is what is happening in Iraq today. Conceitedness and pride. These are the 19 diseases of the heart that you purify your heart of. Spiritually pure and morally pure. So you pay attention to halal and haram, and you practice morals and ethics. And physically pure. So you are circumcised. Men who are not circumcised, they give women cancer of the cervix, cervical cancer. So you practice physical purity, you practice circumcision, istinja, to wash your private parts with water after urination or defecation. You practice wudu, and you practice ghusl. And the Rasul said you should make ghusl for every Salatul Jumu'ah. But because he used the word afdal, it's better to make ghusl. The scholar said if you make Jumu'ah without ghusl, your Jumu'ah is accepted. It's not rejected, it's accepted if you only make wudu. But it would have been better to make ghusl for every Salatul Jumu'ah. And the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said 5 things are of fitrah. Circumcision, to shave the pubic regions. Some water, please. Then there's dust in the masjid. Circumcision, to shave the pubic regions, your armpits and your private parts, every 40 days, that is. And the clipping of your toenails and fingernails, and to clip the mustache. These are 5 things from Al-Fitra, collected by Bukhari, volume 5, page 515. A very important hadith. The Rasul said, إِذَا دَعَى الرَّجُلْ إِمْرَأَتَهُ إِلَى الْفِرَاشِ فَأَبَتْ لَعَنَتْهَا الْمَلَائِكَةُ حَتَّى تُصْبِحْ. Whenever a man calls his wife to bed and she refuses, all the angels in heaven curse that woman until she goes to bed with her husband. Now, this hadith is very important, and it has 4 lessons. A real man rules his wife, so he calls her to bed whenever he feels like. And the Prophet said, if you have a wife who is disobedient and you don't divorce her, your salah is not accepted. I read that hadith in the tafsir of Ibn Kathir. Second lesson, a real man calls a woman to bed, not a man, a woman. Because the Rasul said, I marry a woman, and if you don't follow my example and marry a woman, you are not of me. So marriage between men is not accepted, and it will never be accepted in Islam. It's accepted in Christianity. In New Hampshire, you have gay Archbishop Gene Robinson. Such a thing will never be accepted in our pure religion, al-Islam. Number 3, a real man is not impotent. Because if you are impotent, how can you call a woman to bed? You don't have the confidence to call a woman to bed if you are impotent. And if you are impotent, you have lost your manhood. They said manhood means potency. When they say he lost his manhood, they mean he has become impotent. And it is the right of your wife to divorce you if you are impotent. Because women sought divorce in the time of the Prophet for these reasons. The 4th lesson, a man marries a woman who he is attracted to. So because he is attracted to his wife, he calls her to bed. You are not allowed to marry someone who you are not attracted to, because Allah said in Surah Nisa verse 3, فَانْكِحُوا مَا تَابَ لَكُمْ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ مَثْنَى وَثُلَاثَ وَرُبَعَ. Marry women who are pleasing to you, who you are attracted to. 2, 3, or 4. And if you can't do justice, then stick to 1. Now, Islam is not just spiritual, it is social. What about the social? What about the spiritual, the financial, the emotional, the political, the judicial, the military aspect, the national and the international? These are the 4 lessons we derive from the hadith of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is found in Sahih Bukhari. And when we mention the 19 diseases of the heart that you are supposed to purify yourself from, and we mention lust as one of them. Lust is of 7 types: fornication, adultery, homosexuality, lesbianism, incest, rape, and bestiality. The Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, anytime a man practices incest, you should kill the man and the woman. So if he seduces his aunt, you kill the aunt and the nephew. And as for homosexuals, when Abu Bakr was the caliph, he caught them. He stoned them to death, and that wasn't good enough for them. He burnt their bodies and refused to do janazah over them. Ali did the same thing in his caliphate, and Abdullah ibn Zubair did the same thing in Medina. As for bestiality, the Rasul said, kill the animal and kill the man, and no one is allowed to eat that meat. As for rape, it's left up to the ijtihad of the mujtahid, the qadi in the courthouse. It is left up to the ijtihad of the qadi in the courthouse, and the maximum punishment is death for the rapist. So we purify ourselves from all these heart diseases, the 19 diseases of the heart. So a Muslim is not spiritually empty, morally bankrupt, and ethically perverse. Some men are not jealous over their wives. They are not jealous over their wives. These men, did the Prophet call them men? No. The Prophet didn't call them men. He used a despicable word to describe them. And that word in Arabic, dayyuth. That's the word the Prophet gave them. Dayyuth. And the Rasul said, La yadkhulu jannah ad-dayyuth. Any man who is not jealous over his wife will never go to Jannah. Not only are you supposed to be jealous over your wife, you are supposed to be jealous over your daughter, your mother, your sister. Then you are a real man. In Europe and America, a father can be sitting down on the settee reading the newspaper, and his 16-year-old daughter comes into the house with a boy. He said, Daddy, this is Peter. He said, hello, Peter. Then he goes upstairs with his daughter. And for 2-3 hours, they are in her bedroom, and he is downstairs reading the newspaper, and he doesn't care what's happening upstairs. If you are a Muslim father and you are like this, you can't go to Jannah, because you are a dayyuth, you have no jealousy over your daughter, and you have allowed your daughter to become corrupted in front of your very eyes. This is not the character of a real man. And the Rasul said 10 people have perpetrated grave acts of kufr. A murderer, a magician, and the third, a dayyuth, a man who has no jealousy over the females of his family. He allowed them to become corrupted in front of his very eyes. Number 4, the man who didn't pay zakah. Number 5, the man who didn't make hajj after having ample opportunity to do so. Number 6, a man who is a drunkie. He is addicted to some sort of intoxicant, some sort of hallucinogen. You cannot be addicted to anything which is haram. If you die addicted to some form of intoxicant, you die the death of a pagan, the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. And if you take intoxicants for 40 days and 40 nights, you have no salah. And a person who is addicted to something, crack, cocaine, heroin, or tuck, that person is Iblis in human form. That person is Iblis in human form, and it's better for you not to live in the same house with the person. It's better you chuck them out on the street, because they will cause you to age prematurely, because it's very stressful to live with that person. Number 7, a man who leaves his house with the intention to spread fitna. Number 8, a man who practices anal sex with his wife. Number 9, a man who seduces the females of his family and practices incest with them. Number 10, a person who sells weapons at a time when the war is unholy. These 10 people have perpetrated grave acts of kufr. Some males behave like females. Did the Prophet call them men? Some males, they behave like females. Did the Prophet call them men? No. The Prophet called them mukhannathin. And then he said, drive out the mukhannathin from your homes. Drive out, akhriju al-mukhannathin min buyutikum. Drive out the men who behave like females from your homes. When the Omar heard this hadith, he drove a man from his house because he was effeminate. Allah Ta'ala said in Surah Baqarah 228, وَلِلْرِجَالِ عَلَيْهِنَّ دَرَجَةً. Men are a degree above women. So you need 2 female witnesses, or 4 female witnesses. You need 2 male witnesses or 4 female witnesses in the Muslim courthouse. Because men are a degree above women. That's the tafsir. Another tafsir, men have more hikmah. Men have more patience. Men are rational, while women are emotional. This is another tafsir. So a real man is not trivial, neither is he an ignoramus who is cantankerous and garrulous. Garrulous and cantankerous, very argumentative. A real man is not argumentative. The Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Inna abghad al-rijal inda Allah alladul khisam." The most disgusting person in the sight of Allah is the man who is argumentative, garrulous, and cantankerous. Allah said, "Rijal la tulhihim tijara." Rijal la tulhihim tijaratun wala bay' and dhikrullah. That the real man is not diverted with tijara, trading, and bay', business transaction, from the remembrance of Allah. Wa iqam as-salah wa ita az-zakah. His business transactions and his trading, his merchandise, did not stop him from establishing his salah. Now, some people, they are too busy making money, they cannot pray salah. I've met many people like that. They love the pound sterling more than Allah. I lived in New York, I've seen them. I've lived in London. They love the US dollar more than Allah. They love the pound sterling more than Allah. They cannot establish salah. They are too busy making money in their shops, their stores. And your love for your wealth did not stop you from paying your zakah. Surah Nur, verse 37. So the real man is not diverted from the remembrance of Allah with his trading transaction, his business. So real men, wealth doesn't divert them from dhikrullah, from salah, to pay their zakah, to establish their salah properly. Some people, they are so much focused on their business, when they come to pray, they pray very quickly. Very quickly. And they have no khushu in salah. They can't concentrate. They pray like the rooster picking up the corn grain very quickly, because they want to go back to their business. Allah said the real man, his business doesn't stop him from establishing his salah properly. Surah 24, verse 37. People who are diverted from ibadah because of money, did the Prophet call them men? No. What did the Prophet call them? People who abandon salah because of their love of the dunya. Did the Prophet call them men? No. What did he call them? He called them Abdud Dinar wa Abdud Dirham. The slaves, Abd means slave. The slaves of dinar and dirham, which is currency. Dinar and dirham is currency, like the pound, the euro, and the dollar. This is the label the Rasul gave them, people who were diverted from ibadah, from Islam, because of dunya. And people who have become corrupted with the dunya and forgot Allah Ta'ala totally, and become evil in character because of dunya, and lost their taqwa. Allah said in Surah 25, verse 44, "In hum illa kal an'am, bal hum adal sabila." They are like the an'am, the cattle. Then Allah said they are beneath the level of the cattle. So Allah refers to them as an'am, the cattle, not men, an'am. Those people who have allowed the dunya to corrupt them totally, and they abandon ibadah. Allah said, وَأَذِنَ فِي النَّاسِ بِالْحَجِّ. Proclaim to humankind the Hajj. يَأْتُوكَ الرِّجَالِ وَعَلَى كُلِّ دَامِرٍ. Real men will come to make the Hajj. They will come on every lean camel. يَأْتِين مِنْ كُلِّ فَجٍ عَمِيقٍ. They will come to you from far, highways and byways to perform the pilgrimage, the Hajj. Surah 22, verse 27. So Allah said real men will come for Hajj. Hajj is extremely difficult. When I was on Hajj in 1989, I saw people die in the valley of Mina from heat strokes, especially Muslims coming from Europe. People die by the hundreds from heat stroke. I don't know if Hajj is easier now. Back then it was very difficult. Hajj is so difficult, the Rasul said to Aisha, the jihad of a woman is her Hajj. And when you go to Hajj and you sleep over in the valley of Muzdalifah, it is like you are on the battlefield. Hajj is the sister of jihad. You sleep in Muzdalifah in the open, with no cover over you. In the open, the sky is your covering. This is exactly like you are on the battlefield when you are on Hajj and you are in the valley of Muzdalifah. So Allah Ta'ala said, وَأَذْنَ فِي النَّاسِ بِالْحَجِّ. Proclaim pilgrimage, Hajj, to humankind. يَأْتُوكَ رِجَالًا وَعَلَى كُلِّ ضَامِرٍ. Real men will come to perform the Hajj. They will come on every lean camel. يَأْتِينَ مِنْ كُلِّ فَجٍّ عَمِيقٍ. From every far away highways and byways, they will come forward for the Hajj. Who will come? Real men. Allah said, Rijal. Allah said, Ar-Rijal qawwamuna ala nisa. Men are the maintainers and protectors of women. Bima faddala Allah ba'dahum ala ba'd. Because Allah prefers others, some over others. Bima anfaqu min amwalihim. Men are above women because they spend from their wealth to look after the woman. Now, what is this telling you? For you to have your masculinity, you need to have a job. Only then you will be respected by your wife. No job, no money. No money, no masculinity. No masculinity, no respect, no love. When you have no money, even your wife hates you. Because on Eid day, every woman has a husband who takes her to the marketplace to buy her beautiful clothing for Eid. And you can't buy her nothing. So when you are broke with no money, even your wife despises you. Why? Because Allah said, Ar-Rijal qawwamuna ala nisa. Men are the maintainers and protectors of women. Bima faddala Allah ba'dahum ala ba'd. Because Allah prefers the men over the women. Why? Because the men spend. وَبِمَا أَنفَقُوا مِنْ أَمْوَالِهِمْ. The men, they work and spend on their wives. So a real man is able to maintain his wife financially. No job, no money, no masculinity. No masculinity, no love, no respect. No respect, no obedience. No obedience in the home, no law and order. No law and order, total chaos. This is a chain reaction. So a real man pays bills. A real man is able to look after his wife, and there is no good in poverty. One of the biggest problems in the Muslim world today, too many sheikhs and molanas preaching poverty. There is no good in poverty. Allah said, Ash-shaytanu ya'idukum al-faqra wa ya'murukum bil-fahsha. The shaitan threatens you with poverty. Then he commands you to do haram. If poverty was good, why did the shaitan use his poverty as a weapon against the believers? Why would the shaitan use poverty as a lethal weapon against the believers? Omar said, if poverty was a man, I would have killed him with my own two hands. Then Omar said, poverty leads to kufr. Now look at a place like Malawi. It used to be 70% Muslims. Some people say 75%. Now it's only 40% Muslim. Because the Crusaders went there to spread Christianity. Why they chose Malawi? Because of poverty. Why didn't they go to Brunei, where you have a lot of millionaires and billionaires? Why didn't they go to Kuwait, where there's a lot of millionaires and billionaires? They go to a poor country. Even the kafirs know that poverty leads to kufr. Allah said in Surah 28, Surah Qasas verse 20, وَجَاءَ الرَّجُلُ مِنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَ يَسْعَى. A man came running from the uppermost part of the city. قَالَ يَا مُوسَى, O Moses, إِنَّ الْمَلَأَ يَأْتَمِرُونَ بِكَ. The people are plotting to do what? To kill you. لِيَقْتُلُوكَ فَاخْرُجْ. Get out of Egypt. إِنِّي لَكَ مِنَ النَّاصِحِينَ. Verily, I am a sincere advisor to you. Now, what lesson you learn from this ayah in Surah Qasas, Surah 28, verse 20? Now, what's the story behind it? Moses was a Hebrew, and he saw an Egyptian soldier beating a Hebrew. And the man cried out, Ya Musa, Ya Musa. So Moses went and punched the soldier, and he died. He did not meant to kill him, but he died. That same man got into trouble the following day. So he cried out, Ya Musa, Ya Musa, O Moses. Moses said, you are a troublemaker. It's obvious that you are nothing but a troublemaker. When Moses didn't help the man a second time, what did he say? Aturid an taqtulni kama qatalta nafsan bil ams. Do you want to kill me the way you killed the man yesterday? The same man who he defended, what did he do? He blew the whistle on him. He blew the whistle on Moses. What did he say? He spoke loud for people to hear. Do you want to kill me the way you killed the man yesterday? Do you want to become a tyrant on the land? Atrid an takun jabbaran fil ard? Now this is a lesson for you. The Quran is the greatest psychology. This is a lesson for you. A man will love you if you allow him to use you. But the moment you say enough is enough, and you don't allow yourself to be used by him, he turns against you and become your enemy. So because Moses said to him, I will not come to your rescue today because you are nothing but a troublemaker, he blew the whistle on Musa. When he killed the man, only 4 individuals knew about it. Musa, the man who died, the Hebrew who he helped, and Allah, 4 individuals. But when he shouted out, do you want to kill me the way you killed the man yesterday? The whole of Egypt now heard. The Pharaoh, for you to be in his army, is prestige. The new Pharaoh is the American army. So for you to be an American soldier, it is prestige. If you commit war crimes, they can't take you to The Hague. America said nobody can take our soldiers to The Hague. Our soldiers are above that. We will judge our soldiers ourselves. So the Pharaoh, to prove to his soldiers that he loved them and he cared about them, he will now kill Musa, his own son, his adopted son. So the man came running. The lesson you learn here is that a real man speaks the truth. He told Musa the truth. A real man gives you sincere advice. He advised Musa, leave Egypt. A real man looks after the servants of Allah. Musa was a servant of Allah, so he came to him. Said, I am a sincere advisor to you. A real man looks after righteous people and defend righteous people. So because of that, Allah said, وَجَاءَ الرَّجُلُ. A man came running from the uppermost part of the city. Yas'a. What did he say? Ya Musa, innal mala ya'tamiruna bika. The people are plotting for you. What are they plotting? To kill you. So leave Egypt. Fakhruj. Get out of here. Inni laka minan nasihin. Verily, I am a sincere advisor to you. A real man looks after the servants of Allah. Surah Yasin, verse 20. Allah said, وَجَاءَ مِنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ الرَّجُلٌ يَسْعَى قَالَ يَا قَوْمِ اتَّبِعُوا الْمُرْسَلِينَ. A man came running from the uppermost part of the city. Who was this man? In Surah Yasin, he was a leper and he was a carpenter. For 70 years he worshipped idols. Many people conned him, took money off him to cure him of his leprosy and didn't cure him. But Allah sent 2 messengers. And he said to them, what is your proof that you are messengers? And what did they do? They cured Habib of his leprosy. And he asked, what do I owe you? They said, nothing, just believe in Allah. Believe in Allah. That's the only thing we ask of you. So what did Habib say? Ittabi'u man la yas'alukum ajran wa hum muhtadun. Follow these messengers. They are guided to the straight path. They guide you to the straight path and they didn't charge you any money to guide you. Now, which city was he in Antakya in Turkey? These people were idol worshippers. Allah sent 2 messengers and the king locked them up in prison. So Allah sent a 3rd messenger. This 3rd messenger, what did he do? He befriended the king. And then after he won the trust of the king, he said to the king, I heard you locked up 2 messengers. He said, yes, because they were spreading dangerous ideas in my kingdom. He said, let me talk to them. Up till now, he didn't know that the 3rd messenger who befriended him was a messenger as well. When he questioned them about their aqidah, their creed, he said to the king, but I have the same creed as them. The king said, you are my friend and you have the same creed as these men I dump in prison? He said, yes, we are messengers. I am a messenger, they are messengers. The king said, if you are really a messenger, this friend of mine is blind. Why don't you make him see? The scholars of tafsir said this man was so blind, he didn't have holes in his head. You know, some people are blind, but they have eyes in their head, except that their eyes cannot see. This man didn't even have eyes in his head the way he was blind. And they prayed and prayed and prayed, and eyes appeared in his head, in his forehead, for him to see. And still the king wasn't satisfied. The king wasn't satisfied. He said, this boy, he died yesterday. His father is my friend. He's on a journey. I don't want him to come back and find his son dead. So give him life. The 3 messengers, they gave him life. They gave him life. Now the scholars differ in their tafsir. Some said the king took shahada, some said he didn't. But the people were plotting to kill these 3 messengers, and Habib came running, even though he knew that the people were bloodthirsty. Because for you to plot to kill the messengers of Allah, you have to be really bloodthirsty. The worst man on Judgment Day is a man who killed a prophet, or he was killed himself by a prophet. This is a hadith. The worst man on Judgment Day is a man who killed a prophet, or he himself was killed by a prophet. When Habib heard that they were plotting to kill the messengers who cured him of his leprosy, he came running. وَجَاءَ مِنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ رَجُلٌ يَسْعَى. What did he say? A man came running from the city, the uppermost part. What did he say? اتَّبِعُوا مَنْ لَا يَسْأَلُكُمْ أَجْرًا وَهُمْ مُهْتَدُونَ. Ya qawmi, O my people, ittabi'u al-mursaleen, follow these messengers. Follow those who guide you to the straight path, and they did not charge you any fee. Surah Yasin, Surah 36, verse 20. The lesson you learn is a real man speaks the truth. A real man speaks the truth in front of a tyrannical ruler, because the greatest jihad is to speak the truth in front of a tyrannical ruler, as the Prophet told you. A real man put his life on the line to stand up for the haqq, the truth. And this is what Habib did. What did the people do to him? They stoned him to death. And death wasn't good enough for them. They jumped up and down on his body until his feces came out of his bottom. Then they burned his body. We need to do the tafsir of Surah Yasin on a separate occasion. And after they killed him, still he didn't carry grudges against them. He said, Ya layta qawmi ya'lamun. If only my people could know. Bima ghafrali Rabbi. Oh, my Lord has forgiven me of all my sins. Waja'alani min al-mukramin. And he has made me among the most noble of people. He made a dua for them. Even after they killed him. Because when they killed him, Allah showed him his destiny in paradise. Habib the carpenter. Allah said, now these people who killed Habib, they were pagans. Now, why did they kill him? Allah told you why. Allah said in Surah 5, verse 82, you will find that those who hate you the most will be Jews and pagans, those who worship idols. لَتَجْدَنَّ أَشَدَّ النَّاسِ عَدَاوَةً لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا الْيَهُودُ وَالَّذِينَ أَشْرَكُوا. Surah 5, verse 82. A real man speaks the haqq even though his life is on the line. Another ayah, Allah said, Awa ajibtum. Are you shocked? Are you surprised? And ja'akum dhikrun min rabbikum ala rajulin minkum liyundhirakum. Surah 7 verse 69. Are you surprised that a man came to you with the dhikr, the book, the Quran, from your Lord, and this dhikr was brought to you by a rajul, a real man, in order to warn you? Surah 7 verse 65. This ayah is telling you that the Quran, only a real man can carry the Quran. This is why you have wicked scholars. Because for you to practice the Quran, to preach the Quran, to carry the Quran, it's a burden that very few people can bear. Allah Ta'ala said, Lo anzalna hadha al-Quran. This Quran, hadha al-Quran, Lo anzalna hadha al-Quran ala jabalin lara'aytahu khashi'an mutasaddi'an min khashyatillah. If we have revealed this book on a mountain, it would have been reduced to powder and dust. Not even a mountain can carry the Quran. So Allah said, for you to carry this book, Al-Quran, you have to be a real man. So because of that, some scholars become wicked scholars and they pass erroneous fatwas. Because to carry the Quran is a burden more than they can bear. Allah said, if I had revealed this book on a mountain, it would be reduced to what? Powder and dust. Because it is a heavy book. So Allah said, Awa ajibtum, are you shocked that the dhikr came to you from your Lord? And who brought it to you? A man from your own selves to warn you. So the lesson you learn from Surah 7 verse 6 to 9, you need to be a real man to carry the Quran. If you are not a real man, then you become like the donkeys who carry books, because the donkey is unaware of the value that it has on its back. The Rasul said, Man mata wa lam yaghzu wa lam yuhaddith nafsahu bil ghazu mata ala shubatin min an-nifaq. Any man who died and did not do jihad, and he did not make his intention to do jihad, he died on a branch of hypocrisy. So for you to do jihad, you have to be a real man. If you are not a real man, you will promote democracy. You don't need to do jihad. Just make an X and drop it in the ballot box. Why do you want to go on the battlefield? You might lose your 2 hands, your 2 feet, or your eyesight. You might even lose your life. You don't need to do jihad. Just make an X and drop it in the ballot box, and then you'll get the power. The Algerians tried it. They got a kick in their teeth. And who else tried it? The people of Turkey with Arbakan. They tried to use democracy to implement Islam. You can't use kufr to implement Islam. Allah said, Lakum dinukum waliyadin. Democracy is the greatest shirk. But why some scholars preach it? Because they can't do jihad. Why they can't do jihad? Because they are no longer real men. I've heard Muslims put up their hands and ask scholars, do I need my wife permission to marry a second wife? If you were a real man, you would never put up your hand and ask that question, because Allah gave you the permission in the Quran to marry 2, 3, or 4. In Surah Nisa, verse 3. But why did you put up your hand and ask a sheikh, do I need my wife permission to marry a second wife? Because this person is not a real man anymore. Show me one hadith where a Sahaba put up his hand and asked the Prophet, do I need my wife permission to marry a second wife? I challenge you to bring me one hadith where a Sahaba did that. The Sahabas did not do that. You know why? Because they were real men. They were real men, so they did not need to ask the Prophet that question. That question is absolutely ridiculous. Only men who are fake men ask such a question. There are many men who are wealthy and strong, young men and wealthy, but they can't marry a second wife because their wives rule them in the house. A real man runs the house, but a fake man, he runs around the house. Usama ibn Zayd, he was 16 years old, and the Prophet sent him to the battlefield. To do what? To be the Amir of the battalion. And men in the battalion were in their 30s, 40s, 50s. And they have to take orders from a 16-year-old boy. Why? Because he attained puberty. In Islam, if you are 15, you're a man, according to Islamic law. Now, why did the Prophet choose Usama to be the leader of the battalion? Because he was a real man. Now, look at the Sahabas. Can a 16-year-old today take that responsibility? He can't. Because he was destroyed by the media, watching cartoons of the kuffar. Cartoons of the kuffar that promote homosexuality and atheism. Teletubbies. Teletubbies is homosexual. They are homosexuals. The cartoons of the kuffar. So his mind is messed up. So at 16, he is not ready for the responsibility that the Prophet put on Usama. And when the Prophet died, they said, change him, change him. They approached Abu Bakr, change him. Abu Bakr said, how can I change him? Abu Bakr said, how can I change him as the Amir when he was chosen by the Prophet? And he refused to change him. And he led the battalion and the army was successful. And men in their 50s were in the army taking orders from a 16-year-old. Why? Because the Sahabas were real men. We have too many talks about women in Islam, not many about men in Islam. So most people, they totally forgot what are the requirements of a real man. Ibn Omar said, I went to the Prophet to fight at Badr. He refused. I was 13. I went at Uhud. I was 14. He refused. At the battle of the Ahzab, the battle of the ditch, I was 15 and the Prophet accepted me. So you are a man. When you are 15, you are baligh and you are mukallaf. You are accountable for all your actions at the age of 15. Brothers and sisters in Islam, this is our topic, manhood in Islam. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. We'll do a new topic soon, inshallah.